Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes, and this is a bit of a strange subject. Not one I expected to be doing today, but there we go. We're going to be talking about women's safety, and particularly women who work in a less than salubrious industry. We're talking ladies who, by dint of necessity, often have to sell themselves. There used to be the term which you don't like, YouTube don't like you saying, but we call them sex workers now. But we all know what they used to be called. But a whole bunch of these now, these sex workers have protested outside Holyrood. And the reason being because of Ash Regan. It's weird. Ash, what are you doing? She's introduced a new bill to try, and in her terms, tries to protect the women in this industry. It's called the Nordic model. And basically it decriminalises the act of selling sex, but puts the onus on those who are purchasing sex, making that the criminal act. The purchase is the criminal act, not the selling. And the plan is that way it would decriminalise the women and make their lives slightly better with, fewer risks. That's the theory. Now, this was Ash Regan's bing light bulb, bright idea. She brought through the legislation back in June, the Scottish Parliament back in June. And everyone was like nodding sagely about what a great idea. Oh, yes. And in principle, fine. In principle, it's okay. You're aiding the women. You're decriminalising the women. It's fine. But the Nordic model, as they're calling it, is already in place in many countries, including obviously the Nordic countries, Ireland, France, and in some parts of the USA. Because it's all done state by state in the USA. However, the campaigners that are complaining and are outside Holyrood as we speak, well, I don't know if as we speak, it was yesterday, but we're outside Holyrood yesterday, were for a pressure group called Scotland for Decrim. But it says that this Nordic model has had a devastating effect where it was brought in. In this particular, they're quoting numbers from France. They're saying it's very bad for the sex workers' lives and, more importantly, for their well-being, their safety and their well-being. They said that since it was introduced in France about 6 months ago, 10 sex workers have been killed as a direct result of this law and the way that it's implemented and works. And I'm going to quote you here from one woman, not her real name. We'll call her Rose, not her real name, who is a 26-year-old Scottish sex worker. She says, "I am a single parent and entered into sex work because it was the best option for me to earn money while balancing childcare. I'm terrified of the Nordic model as it would strip away my safety and the few rights I currently have as a sex worker. The Scottish Government should be supporting sex workers and have safer working conditions, not putting us in ever more danger. I'm becoming increasingly anxious about the Nordic model becoming a reality in Scotland. They claim it criminalises the clients, but that's not true. It criminalises us. Politicians say they care about women's safety, but they don't listen to us. They don't listen to the sex workers. If Scotland introduces the Nordic model, our blood will be on their hands." Quite a vivid warning there, I think. Now, what they want instead is a full decriminalisation of sex work in Scotland, which would allow the workers to utilise existing labour laws, to challenge exploitative conditions, which means that you couldn't be a sex slave. That would be wrong. If you're employed, then they have to pay you at a certain rate, this, that and the other. There's health and safety conditions. There's all sorts of things. Just like any other sort of self-employed person. And, of course, you'd raise and pay your taxes. You just register it as a business, don't you? And then you can claim your expenses against any, like any other business. No problem. there are others all complaining, and they're all saying the same thing, that the sex workers themselves need more help, more safety, more protection, and they must be seen by the police as being legitimate and not something that needs to be treated as second-class citizens, which frequently happens. I mean, I know times have changed, but one remembers the time of the Ripper, Jack the Ripper. Not Jack the Ripper. Well, yes, Jack the Ripper, of course. I meant the Yorkshire Ripper. When, the police were basically saying these girls are getting killed. Oh, well, they're just, and the WOR word, word you're not allowed to say on YouTube anymore. Basically, that was it. Oh, well, they get what they deserve, for doing the job. And then there was the young girl who was a schoolgirl, was murdered. And all of a sudden, then they took it seriously, because that was the view then. But to be honest, it hasn't really, as far as the police are concerned, hasn't really changed a lot since. But a YouGov poll earlier in the year suggested that the majority of Scots actually disagree with this Nordic model. They want the decriminalisation. They want these women to be able to work safely, securely, away from exploitation, and certainly away from getting their throats slit. We need to challenge the whole approach to it. If men want to buy and women want to sell, let it happen. Just make sure it's happening in a very safe, controlled environment. Why not? Safe for everyone. Safe for the clients as well. Let's be honest. If you could have a place that was registered, licensed, model, protected, you have security at the door, to protect the girls, as well as not just from the clients but from other people. That you have security there. It also means that clients come in, know that they're safe. The clients are safe. They're not going to get mugged or anything. These sort of things happen. Make it safe for all, and tax it. Think how much money you could raise. Hey, that's not the only thing you'd be raising. Hey, anyway, I think it's interesting. I think Ash has possibly got this one wrong. I know she's worked hard for protection of women. I will give her that. But I think on this one, whilst the principle is sound, I think the practice is not going to work. Let me know what you think about this rather odd and difficult subject, I suppose, but interesting to see. And until next time, stay well, stay safe, and I will speak to you later. Thanks. Bye.